Welcome to another edition of The Wrap and the final Mission Impossible film. Some might say a final reckoning, maybe. Probably going to reboot it anyway, aren't they? Because actually this load of the Mission Impossible films are actually a reboot of a TV series, but who knows. Anyway, there will be some spoilers in this, but I will try to keep it spoiler free. But if you enjoy this channel, please do subscribe or ring the bell. So I mentioned it's called Final Reckoning. It was actually the second part of two movies, so Dead Reckoning. If you haven't watched that, I really would severely recommend that you watch it. And honestly, I'd actually recommend that you go and watch the Mission Impossible films anyway, the other ones, because there are callbacks, like retcons, but there are callbacks to this. And it is more enjoyable, but they do get you up to speed very quickly anyway, so you can just watch this movie in isolation if you want to. But Tom Cruise is back for his final hurrah with Ethan Hunt. Now, everything's been going haywire with a very topical thing called AI, if you happen to have heard of that ever. Everything's going haywire. Deep fakes, social media, misinformation, more social media, all that crazy stuff. And it's been going wrong for the past 2 years in movie. Well, it's all looking a bit hairy. Kind of reminds me a little bit of trying to stop Skynet, although Skynet has to stop from being plugged in because it all goes wrong. And this has already gone haywire. But gives me Terminator vibes in some respects. So my first memories of Mission Impossible are both the Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt, dangling down on a wire, trying to Mission Impossible it up, and Limp Bizkit and Metallica doing the theme song. So you can probably date where I started watching, but this movie is mostly a stunt show. I mean, I can't really think of another way to say it. Literally, I mean, they spent a ludicrous amount of money. I think it might be the most expensive movie ever produced, and you can see it in the stunt budget. So it is very visually pleasing. I mean, one highlight is the aeroplane, the sort of red Baron, yellow Baron thing where he's dangling off of an old-fashioned aeroplane, and it's quite perilous, you know. But it does actually make you kind of nervous, even though you know, because it's Mission Impossible, where it's going in terms of, that might be the end of the movie if he falls off the airplane. But actually, they do a good job of making it tense. So, I mean, it makes him jumping into the ocean just look like, oh, stroll in the park on a Sunday, you know, like that's partially in the trailer. But also, if you saw the teaser with the submarine scene, I'm going to say there wasn't any dialogue. The submarine scene was really tense and claustrophobic. Like, the trailer does not do it justice at all. This is a way better experience if you go and see it in the cinema. It'll be a better experience if you watch it at home, to be honest. Like, it's hard to explain, but it's just way more tense than you would think from watching the teaser trailer. So, kudos to them. But my big criticism probably of this movie is the villain. Like, this is Ethan Hunt's last hurrah. The villain is doing, I made you who you are, Ethan, right? Okay, so let's tie the whole thing up. So why does he feel like a Walmart version of Spectre or Blofeld? Because let's face it, like, originally when they rebooted this, they wanted Ethan Hunt Mission Impossible to be like the American James Bond. Never quite worked out like that. I mean, James Bond does some really good stunts, but this is more stunt, plus they don't do them as frequently, it's very Americanized, very different. I mean, but the villain is just so lame. There's no moment where, like, they have a thing. I don't know, you could say it's like a back and forth, or you could say that they should have had a back and forth, or something where they're going at it and it's like tying it all together. It's like, hey, I've got the edge over you. Obviously in the end Ethan Hunt's going to win, but they never had that moment. So if you're going to have a trophy villain, because this is supposed to be the end, I mean, at this point, they could just have had Dr. Evil with a side of random task, and they might as well have, because the writing with this was poor. I just don't see why I know Mission Impossible is not the kind of thing where you're really switching your brain on. It's like, I've mentioned this before, it's not high art, I get that. But my God, you still want a compelling villain, especially your last one. Anyway, villain stuff over, it was poor. It was poor for what it was. And then you consider the fact that we got it in two parts. Now, I'm going to give my verdict on this in the end, but I will say they really didn't go in on the storytelling. And I know Tom Cruise, in a lot of his movies, goes well in on the stunts, right? I get that, and they really did want to go with that. And when you try and do a trailer, when you try and push things on social media, try and get things to go viral, you want something really visually cool that represents what they're trying to do and will capture attention. They definitely succeeded in that part, and it was really good in the movie. It wasn't like, oh, well, the trailer showed the best bit. No, it was done better in the movie, and you had things that you obviously didn't see that were really good, stunt-wise. But they really didn't put any points in the story because, okay, it was competent. The story was fine. It wasn't like, oh, what's going on? Oh, we didn't have this overarching story that made any sense. No, we did. We did. It was just lightweight. And when you consider, how can you spend that much money on a movie, that much time, that much effort in the stunts, that much effort in the promotion, and not put a bit more into the story? And again, I know it's not high art. I do not expect it to be an absolute masterpiece of a story that everybody's going, oh, in 50 years, oh, everyone, read Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning. Ah, yes, this is it, Shakespeare be gone. No, but they could have put more into it. And on that subject, with a runtime of 1 hour, no, wait, that's not it, 2 hours, no, 2.5 hours, no, 3 hours of a runtime of 3 hours. This was a popcorn movie, summer blockbuster. Like, doesn't need 3 hours, and again, they just just spend all the money. Should we write a story? Does it work? Yeah, fix what ain't broken. But at the end of the day, it is a fun movie. If you do like this sort of thing, you will have a good time. You can switch your brain off, but it's fun. Yes, this will become the kind of movie that will be front and centre on Father's Day, or in the build-up to Father's Day, in the DVD and Blu-ray section, or perhaps on your smart TV, or whatever device you are using. But it could have been better. They'll probably reboot the whole thing anyway without Tom Cruise at some point, is my suspicion. But you will enjoy this. I enjoyed it. It is what it is. It's a massive stunt show. Just basically enjoy it for what it is. But anyway, what did you think? Let me know. Please comment below if you didn't enjoy it as much. I'd be interested. And if you thought, hey, this was actually a masterpiece, I'd probably be more interested, because I'd be like, you're quite easily pleased. I'm not really that patronising, but please let me know what you think, and please subscribe and ring the bell, all that good stuff. Thank you very much, and until next time, I'll see you later.